Mr. Negative is the invisible villain. The biggest mystery in Brand New Day isn't why Spider-Man is changing. It's not why Punisher is hunting him. It's not even what Hulk knows about Peter. It's the villain nobody can see. And what if that's because we've been looking for the wrong kind of villain? Everyone is assuming that the invisible threat is someone physically hiding from Peter, someone lurking somewhere in New York, waiting for the right moment to attack. But what if the villain isn't invisible because Peter can't see him? What if he's invisible because Peter doesn't realize that the people he's fighting are being controlled by him? According to YouTube, only 1% of you watching are subscribed. If you like content like this, please subscribe, it's free, and you can always change your mind later. That's where Mr. Negative comes in. In the comics, Martin Lee isn't just another Spider-Man villain. His entire power set revolves around corruption, manipulation, and the ability to influence other people through his negative energy. He's the kind of villain who doesn't need to stand in front of Spider-Man and throw a punch. He can turn other people into weapons. And suddenly, the strange collection of enemies surrounding Peter starts looking very different. Punisher is hunting Spider-Man. Hulk is fighting Spider-Man. Scorpion is involved. Peter is dealing with a threat that apparently nobody can even see. What if these aren't separate problems? What if they're all pieces of the same plan? Peter thinks he's fighting multiple enemies at once, but the real villain is sitting behind all of them, manipulating the conflict without ever revealing himself. And that would explain why this villain is so difficult to find. Peter isn't chasing a person. He's chasing the consequences of someone's influence. But there's an even bigger reason this theory could work. Peter's greatest weakness has always been that he believes he can figure everything out himself. If Mr. Negative is manipulating the people around him, Peter could spend the entire movie fighting the wrong battles. He thinks Punisher is his enemy. He thinks Hulk is his enemy. He thinks the mysterious threat is coming after him. But what if the real plan is to make Peter destroy the very people who could have helped him? The invisible villain doesn't need to defeat Spider-Man. He just needs Spider-Man to believe everyone else is his enemy. And if Mr. Negative really is behind everything, then Peter's greatest mistake in Brand New Day won't be failing to find the villain. It will be realizing too late that the villain has been controlling the entire war from the shadows. Sadie knows Peter's future. Everyone is trying to figure out who Sadie Sink is playing in Brand New Day. Some think she's Gwen Stacy, others think she's Jean Grey. But what if we've been asking the wrong question? What if Sadie's character isn't important because of who she is, but because of what she knows? What if Sadie already knows how Peter Parker's story ends? Think about the timing. Peter has just erased himself from the memories of everyone he loves. He's alone, living a new life and trying to figure out what kind of Spider-Man he's supposed to become. And then Sadie's character enters his life. But what if she's not there to become Peter's new love interest? What if she's there because she already knows something about him that Peter hasn't discovered yet? The strange thing about the secrecy surrounding Sadie's role is that Marvel hasn't simply hidden her character's name. They've hidden almost everything about her. And that makes the possibility of her being another obvious Spider-Man character feel almost too simple. Because if she's just Gwen Stacy, the biggest question is when Peter meets her. But if she's connected to Peter's future, the question becomes much more interesting. How does she know what's coming? Maybe she's connected to something Peter hasn't experienced yet. And if she knows Peter's future, then her appearance in Brand New Day could completely change how we interpret the movie. Peter thinks he's finally getting a fresh start. But what if this isn't a brand new day for Spider-Man at all? What if it's the beginning of a future that someone has already seen? The craziest possibility is that Sadie's character isn't trying to stop Peter from becoming the Spider-Man he's destined to be. She's trying to make sure he becomes him, because Peter may believe he's finally choosing his own path. But what if the entire time, someone has already known exactly where that path leads, and the person who knows Peter's future is standing right in front of him? Quick before the next one, please subscribe for more Marvel content. Peter causes Doomsday. Peter Parker has spent his entire life trying to prevent disasters. But what if, for the first time, the disaster isn't something he's trying to stop? What if Peter Parker is the reason it happens? At first, that sounds impossible. Peter is one of the heroes. He fought alongside the Avengers, he helped save the universe, and after No Way Home, he's finally trying to live quietly, away from the people he cares about. But that's exactly what makes this theory so interesting. Because Peter's life has already been connected to something far bigger than he realizes, the multiverse. Doctor Strange, the spell that erased him from everyone's memories, and the consequences of that spell may not be over. What if Peter's attempt to create a completely new life accidentally creates a new problem for the entire MCU? Think about what happens when you change reality. You don't just erase one person, you create a different version of the world that would have existed without them. And Peter is now living inside that altered reality. But what if something about Peter's existence doesn't belong there? What if the universe itself is trying to correct the mistake? That's where Doomsday comes in. Peter may not intentionally cause the catastrophe. He may not even realize he's doing it. But if his existence is connected to the multiverse in a way that nobody understands, then every decision he makes in Brand New Day could have consequences far beyond New York. And here's the craziest possibility. What if the reason Peter is becoming stronger, Hulk is involved, Punisher is hunting him, and a mysterious villain is targeting him, is because Peter is unknowingly at the center of something much bigger? Everyone thinks they're fighting over Spider-Man, but maybe they're fighting over what Spider-Man's existence could eventually cause. And if Peter is the one person capable of triggering the chain of events that leads to Doomsday, then the Avengers won't be trying to save him. They'll be trying to stop him. Peter Parker has always believed that with great power comes great responsibility. But what if his greatest responsibility isn't saving the world? What if it's making sure he doesn't accidentally destroy it? Because the biggest twist in Brand New Day may be that Peter isn't preparing for the next Avengers war. He's the reason it's coming. Spider-Man is dying. The biggest mystery in Brand New Day might not be who the villain is or why Bruce Banner is involved. It might be what is actually happening to Peter Parker, because everything we've seen so far points toward a transformation that isn't simply giving Spider-Man a new ability. Peter's body may be breaking down. The official synopsis describes Peter as undergoing a transformation that he can't control, and more importantly, suggests that this transformation could be the key to stopping the movie's mysterious threat. That creates a strange contradiction. If Peter is becoming more powerful, why does the movie describe it like something he needs to survive? And if this new form is supposed to help him defeat the villain, why is Peter apparently losing control of it? The theory is that Peter's spider biology is reaching its limit. Remember, Peter's powers were never something he was born with. They came from a radioactive spider altering his body, and for years his powers have remained relatively stable. But Brand New Day appears to be introducing a version of Peter whose body is changing again. That could mean the original mutation wasn't permanent in the way we assumed. It may have been the beginning of a process that Peter's body has been slowly fighting ever since. And there's another reason this could be happening now. Peter is no longer living like the Spider-Man we've seen before. He's fighting crime full-time, constantly pushing his body beyond its limits, with nobody left in his personal life to pull him back. He's essentially turned himself into a 24-hour superhero. If something inside his biology was already unstable, Peter's new lifestyle could be accelerating it. That's where the theory gets crazy. What if Peter isn't simply becoming stronger? What if he's dying? The transformation we're seeing could be Peter's body desperately trying to adapt to something it was never designed to handle. His new abilities might actually be symptoms of his body failing, with every new power bringing him closer to a point where Peter Parker physically can't remain the same person. And if that's true, the movie's biggest question changes completely. Peter isn't trying to discover what he's becoming. He's trying to figure out how long he has left before Spider-Man disappears for good. Hulk knows Peter's secret. Bruce Banner showing up in Spider-Man. Brand New Day might seem strange at first. Spider-Man and Hulk have fought alongside each other plenty of times, but Peter has never exactly needed Bruce Banner to help him with a normal street-level problem. So why is one of the MCU's most important scientists suddenly involved in Peter's story? The obvious answer is that Bruce is there because Peter needs help. But the theory is that Bruce already knows exactly what is happening to Peter, and he may have known before Peter ever realized something was wrong. Think about what makes Bruce uniquely qualified to understand Peter's transformation. Banner has spent his entire life dealing with a body that changed into something he couldn't control. He knows what it's like to suddenly become something else, to lose control of your own biology, and to be terrified that the thing growing inside you might eventually take over. That's why Bruce's role could be much more important than simply helping Peter understand his new condition. What if Bruce recognizes Peter's transformation because he's seen something like it before? The official setup already suggests that Peter's physical change is connected to the central threat of the movie. But if Peter's body is evolving into something dangerous, Bruce might be the only person capable of understanding what's happening at a biological level. And that could explain why he's involved in the first place. But there's a darker possibility. What if Bruce isn't trying to figure out what Peter is becoming? What if he already knows? Bruce could be aware that Peter's transformation follows a biological pattern that has appeared before, and that's why he immediately understands how dangerous it could become. Peter might believe he's developing a new power, while Bruce sees the warning signs of something much worse. And this creates the real twist. Bruce may not be trying to save Peter from the transformation. He may be trying to stop Peter from reaching its final stage. Because if Peter's body is evolving into something that even Bruce Banner considers dangerous, then the biggest secret isn't the identity of the villain. It's the truth about Peter himself. And if Bruce has already figured that out, then Peter could spend the entire movie believing he's fighting to control his new abilities, while the Hulk is secretly preparing for the possibility that Peter may eventually become something neither of them can stop. Punisher is hunting Spider-Man. The most confusing part of Brand New Day might be the fact that Spider-Man and Punisher are apparently on opposite sides. Frank Castle has spent years killing criminals that the justice system couldn't stop, while Peter Parker has always gone out of his way to avoid killing anyone. So why would the Punisher be hunting Spider-Man? The obvious answer is that Frank simply doesn't trust him. But what if that's not the reason? What if Frank is hunting Spider-Man because Peter has started crossing the same line that Frank did years ago? After No Way Home, Peter has lost almost everyone in his life. Nobody remembers who he is. There is no MJ waiting for him at home, no Ned to bring him back to reality, no normal life left to protect. And according to the setup of Brand New Day, Peter has responded by doing the only thing he has left. He's become Spider-Man full-time. That's important because Peter has always been defined by balance. He was a superhero, but he was also a student, a friend, a nephew, and eventually someone trying to build a normal life. Now all of that is gone. So what happens when the person who keeps Spider-Man from becoming too extreme disappears? He might start making decisions that the old Peter Parker never would. And that's where Frank Castle comes in. The theory is that Punisher isn't hunting Peter because he thinks Spider-Man is evil. He's hunting him because he believes Peter is becoming dangerous. Frank could have seen Peter using increasingly brutal methods against criminals, taking justice into his own hands, and becoming less concerned with where the line is. And unlike everyone else, Frank knows exactly where that path leads. He could be the warning, because if Peter doesn't figure out what's happening to him soon, the Punisher may not be hunting Spider-Man to kill him. He may be hunting Spider-Man to stop him before Peter becomes someone who deserves to be hunted.